Hey, YouTube. How's it going? Tiberian, what's up? Oh, hey. Wah, there you are. Whoop. Yeah, been a minute. I've been, busy with too much stuff. Sadly. Had some junk pop up, but I'm doing fine. I just got, like, friends and family who have... whatever. I'm not going to get into it. I'm going to be doing some Ender Lilies and Tactics Ogre Reborn soon, but some Guilty Gear patch notes dropped, so I wanted to go over that. How have you been? I've only read, like, the first bits up here, right? And so, before I get to, like, character-specific stuff, we've got crossplay coming. You can toggle it on or off. That's cool and good. Might be kind of important for, like... I've seen some people talk about the differences in, like, input delay on consoles. And then, of course, connection stuff. So people might want to, like, pay attention to that if they want better connections. I don't know. I haven't looked into too much to how it's going, but I know Lord Knight has put out a couple of videos about crossplay and, like, how the game plays differently on PC and console. Need some McNuggies for the first time in probably 20 years. Luke Corbin Dry. Yeah. I don't go to McDonald's too often. The only thing I get there is, like, fries. They're better than they used to be, but I get the impression that, like, other countries have much better McDonald's than we do. Their breakfast is okay, I suppose. But I'd rather go to, like, Chick-fil-A or somewhere else. I've seen you a little bit over in Brianne's stream. She's been going pretty recently, but with a slightly different schedule. Or pretty frequently, I should say, but with a slightly different schedule. And then Eric was playing through Callisto Protocol. I heard, like, bad things about that game. But seems easy, I guess. Anyway, we got different names for people on different platforms. Or it will, like, show which platform you're on. Which is nice. Crawl is now selectable. A couple of different little bugs fixed. You can mute people, which is cool, because fighting games get toxic every once in a while, but then, like, it wears off as soon as you shut down the game, but then you can block people, and it does kind of the same thing. You won't see their chats or their names, and that doesn't wear off, which is nice. No BGM? You know what? You're right. I don't have any BGM set up for this, and there's totally no BGM on the website, so let me grab my ending music. I like that song. That's gonna be loud, so I'm gonna turn that down a bit. Okay, that should suffice. So there are a couple of other big changes. You can easily block people. It's faster to load the art code. You can see people's connection whenever you're starting up a match, and that's great. I love that. They made some changes to, like, tower ranking stuff and how easy it is for you to go down a level, but it's not really clear here. To make it easier to match with players at the same skill level, the rule preventing players from falling below a certain floor, even after repeated losses based on certain input techniques and floors previously reached, has been eased. I don't know what that means. Previously, like, if you made it to floor 9, you couldn't go down below floor 7 no matter what. So I don't know if you're going to be deranked to floor 7 faster, or if you can go down further. It doesn't really say. But hey, ranking update can be skipped, which is nice, because that's, like, basically an unneeded loading screen. You can keep on doing rematches even if someone gets their assigned floor changed in the middle of a fight, which is nice. Because originally, if people wanted to keep playing themselves in rematch after a set of 3 matches, you just had to, like, wait for that stuff. Replay theater, avatar, mostly bug fixes. Okay, character stuff. They talked a lot about tension gauge earlier, and a lot of these changes I think are pretty good. You get more tension gauge gain when you're on defense, which makes it more like alluring to try and swap from defense to offense. Tension being like your super meter, and then risk level they talk about here too. It depletes faster. Risk like would affect certain things whenever you get counter hit or blown up while trying to defend. So like if you couldn't prevent an opponent's block string, if you couldn't successfully block it or couldn't escape from it somehow, then you would gain risk and things would be worse and worse for you. But that also meant like if you bursted out of a risky situation and stuff like that, you would still be in a pretty risky, dangerous situation based on your risk level. But now it goes down faster, which is pretty good. And risk completely resets when you burst. And I think they talk about Roman canceling in here too, affecting that. The hurt box of 6p, of forward P, is now the same for all characters, which sucks for me because I just started learning Testament and their 6p was godlike, and now it's probably going to be homogenous. But that's probably overall a good change. I'm pretty okay with it. Just kind of sucks for Testament, who like, oh, they had such a good 6p, such a good anti-air to just kind of toss out. It's really good at taking care of pokes, and it still will be, it's just not going to be quite as big. So everybody had the same low point of the hurt box, but the height, especially during startup, was varied between characters, and now it will change. So that's more of a like kind of homogenizing across the board type of thing, which is fine. 6p should probably be about the same for everybody. Like, for example, Angie had a really tiny 6p. It was very, very far back. And so I don't know if they've adjusted how far out these moves reach, right? Just the height of it will be the same for everybody. So maybe some 6ps will still be better than others. We'll have to wait for Dust Loop to update. They've made any special moves that make you retreat, give you negative balance. Which, like, how to explain that? You can go into a state called danger state, right? Whenever you retreat too much. And it means you start losing your super bar because the game wants you to be aggressive. So as long as you're like performing a block string or going at your opponent, then you have a positive tension balance. But now certain special moves that make you retreat will contribute towards negative tension balance, meaning you'll go into danger state more often, which makes sense based on how it all worked previously. They just had like retreating moves that didn't contribute to that. So the game's going to be even more aggressive now, or every character is going to be like encouraged to be more aggressive. Base damage scaling, some things have been changed. This mostly depends, or mostly contributes to like how hard a combo ends up hitting, depending on what you started with. But close slash didn't change, so it's still going to be a really good combo starter. You really want to get in. People like using punches and kicks because they're really quick, but close slash is also really quick and kind of varies in between characters. So you're still going to want to try and poke out of a block string with close slash and get a bigger reward for it. This is kind of a summation of all of that. Some things have had their attack level changed, but I don't think these are even really changes, just kind of talking about attack levels for hits, which change like, yeah, how much knockback you get, how much block stun you get, how much tension gain you gauge. Really, like, damage scaling has more to do with how much damage a combo does. So I think this is just clarifying, putting that out there. This is, I think, overall cool and good, but kind of sucks for me as an Eno player. Because, like, that's the exact example they use. It's weird, too. Why was such a big change list implemented? Well, there's been talk in the, like, Guilty Gear FGC about, and other games that Arc System Works has put out, about how they just don't have the best communication. They'll release like big notes and presentations whenever there's like a new character or what have you, some like big stuff like that. But when it comes to little technical details or answering community questions, there's not a lot of really great feedback a lot of the time. So Most of these are going to be just balance changes, but for the reason that so much info has been put out this time, I think they're actually listening and responding to like a lot of their community, which is good because they need to. They got a lot of heat. I forget how long ago it was, but just a couple of months back, they had a patch for DNF Duel, right? Which has been struggling a lot since it came out. And there's just like not a lot of people playing it, and people have been yelling about how kind of busted or wonk the game is in certain different areas. And then they released a patch that was like, okay, this character that was extremely broken had all of their stuff nerfed, like a lot of it. And so they put out patches notes that like when we get done to characters looks, you know, kind of like this, decreased whatever, increased downtime or recovery time on frames and stuff. Why not just leave the game alone and move on to the next game? Because people play these games for a long time, right? And that's the way it used to be. But so, like, to answer your first question, they're getting better at communication, which was desperately needed. They got a lot of heat after a patch note for DNF Duel was, like, tiny. And, way back when, right, in old fighting game times, that's exactly how it worked. You would get several different versions of basically the same game, but this next one would have some additional characters and balance changes. And then the next version that came out would have another character or two and some stages and music and balance changes. But now everything can be updated online, both through Steam and through consoles and such, right? So they tweak little things as the game goes on. You're a firm believer of letting the meta work itself out? That still happens. That's still definitely the case. And so that's part of what I'm going to be digging into to see if there are any big changes. Because I like skimmed over the top part of this, which was talking about like super gauge and risk gauge and a slight change to how 6P worked. This right here is a change to how projectiles work, which is a little weird, right? So previously, Potemkin's hitbox on his big punch and a lot of other characters with their big pokes will extend out to here. Like if I look up Dust Loop, we'll go over to Potemkin real quick. Some of this might be cut off. Potemkin and Strive. The move they're showing here. Boom, 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 boom. How does this look, actually? I might have this side cut off. Yeah, you can't see anything. So this move right here, his hitbox... Oh, I didn't even know that. The red is the I always mix up hitbox and hurtbox because you can say them either way. But like, the blue is where he can get hit, the yellow is where he can get grabbed, and the red is the part that does damage. And so when we go back over here, which I'm going to re-crop. Like, you can see Eno's note would previously just hit him from here, where he didn't really have a hurt box, which is weird, actually, now that I look at those boxes. But, so this makes more sense, but it's also kind of a nerf for Eno and other people who have projectiles that would, like, previously counter pokes a little bit better. And honestly, this is needed for Potemkin, because he's struggling right now. Not that any of this really, any meta stuff doesn't really matter until you hit top-level play, right? People make tier lists talking about how good a character is, and that's been another topic that's been going about recently. Those don't really matter unless you're in competitive play. They used to in older fighting games, where some characters were trash and some characters were broken, but that's less the case now. And I guess also kind of going back to, you know, your comment on meta and why don't they just leave the game alone? The Arxis has a habit of, like, treating Guilty Gear as their main thing and their baby. Oh, hey, I transitioned to my Ender Lilies thing. That's cool. I should really get better hotkeys. And so in addition to like treating Guilty Gear as their baby, they release a bunch of other fighting games and use those to kind of experiment, and that's what BlazBlue has been for a while. They do things differently. And so they're constantly experimenting and refining stuff. And when Guilty Gear Strive came out, people were like talking about how, okay, yes, the damage is huge, but that's kind of a thing in some modern fighting games. Not so much other anime fighting games, because they're like really, really big. They're really, really big, like combos and air combos and stuff in a lot of other anime fighting games. In, say, you know, Marvel 3, not really an anime fighter. Skullgirls, Melty Blood, stuff like that. They're just good characters and bad characters in games. Don't think they need to tweak things endlessly. But it would be nice if the bad characters weren't like utter shit. Why would you ever play this, right? Because some people just like Anji. Like one of the things that gets people into fighting games is they like the design and feel and play style of a character, right? But if that character is objectively shit because like the mid-tier or definitely the top-tier characters can just walk all over them with ease, then why is that character even in the game? Why would you ever play that character? And of course, like below competitive, sometimes it doesn't really matter. But when you win with bad characters, it's super hype. True. People still win with Potemkin, and some with Anji, just like not as much. And that is kind of like the flex factor of bad characters, which was definitely more of a thing in older fighting games than it is now. They've just been moving away from stuff like that. They want every character to be relevant. They don't need every character to be top tier, and they're definitely not going to be just because of like the inherent way a lot of them are designed. But you see less trash characters in more modern fighting games and less like clearly busted characters in most modern fighting games, right? There was like the JoJo fighting game that came out not too long ago that was nowhere near as busted as the old JoJo fighting game, which like every character had 2 or 3 infinites because they didn't care about balance. But the new one is still pretty whack, which is fun in its own right? Like there's fun in jank sometimes, but that's not what they want to do with Guilty Gear. It's trying to be a more competitive thing. And so this type of stuff makes sense. We just saw Potemkin's hurt box is like up here, right? But his hitbox is all the way back here. So when Note or like any other fireball hits at the tip of his big old poke, which is admittedly slow and otherwise easy to kind of avoid or block, really rewarding if you get it into a combo chain, but hard to actually hit somebody with just like a poke unless you're trying to like space them or they're just straight up dashing at you and they don't know how to block in the middle of a dash. Then this being extra punishing is bad for a character that already has trouble with being punished. And that's part of his design still. Potemkin doesn't have a dash, he doesn't have an air dash, he doesn't have a double jump. He has to rely on moves like specials that rush him in or jump through the air, and those come with their own unique set of risks. But he gets like massive payoff from grabbing people. All of his buttons are big and do a lot of damage. So he's grappler archetype, right? He's got the problems and bonuses that come along with that. And that's still going to be the case. They're just making it so like, even here in this example, Note is like, it basically hits right here or a couple frames afterwards and he's getting hit, but it looks like Note's in the middle of the screen. Whereas here, he's still in the recovery animation of this exact same move and getting hit. It just takes a little longer for him to get hit, which actually, depending on your timing, is either going to be a good thing or a bad thing for the Eno player, the person throwing out the fireball, whoever they are. Because it hits later, which means you might be able to get some startup and get closer before it hits, which means they're going to be in hit stun for longer. or later, I suppose, in your approach. But if you screw it up or throw out a fireball way too late, Potemkin will recover and be able to block beforehand. So there's just little tweaks. I think another problem is that they nerf stuff to reflect the current meta. Remember when a JP guy kicked everyone asses in Marvel 3 with Phoenix Wright and Rocket Raccoon team when everyone in there? Yeah, it depends. That is definitely a thing that happens, but at least with Guilty Gear, we haven't seen too much of that. When everyone in the West was playing Zero May Cry, Zero was pretty good, and Dante and Virgil for sure. I mean, Phoenix was always crazy, but she was like glass cannon, right? She was boss style. But that was the design of the character. She had very little health, but if she really played right, then she could like completely wipe the floor with people. But that's fine. I think I like changes to stuff like this. The damn inside me. What's up? Yeah, Bridget's song is great. I love it. What's up, J Hank? How you doing? We're talking balance and kind of barely just getting into the patch notes. Been some super bar changes, been some negative value changes. 6P got big changes. Proximity requirement is new? Proximity requirements added to an attack. These will no longer connect unless within a defined range of the opponent's character position, which should just be a hitbox hurtbox thing, but for some reason this was detonating early and actually connecting. Anyway, this is what I haven't looked at all yet. And I don't expect huge things here. And the JP meta for Marvel was always weird compared to Western Orthodoxy. That's still the case with, I think, most fighting games. Like we were talking about tier lists for an example a little while back, and one of the reasons why, like, there was a period where people were making tier lists, and that was really popular, and then, like, you had a bunch of people come out and be like, well, tier lists don't matter unless you're in competitive. And even then, it varies from region to region. Remember a player had a super good Jugs team in Marvel 2? Yeah. Which was not meta at all, right? Because Marvel 2 was like Magneto, Sentinel, sometimes Cable, Iron Man. What was his name? Blackheart, and maybe one or two others, but like mostly Marvel characters. Balancing in fighting games. Your turn, Mortal Kombat. The most unbalanced fighting games you've played. Yeah. I can't comment on Mortal Kombat because I've always never felt good playing them, and so I have very, very little experience. I also haven't heard too much about Mortal Kombat recently. MSS? What was MSS? Magneto something? Magneto Sentinel something? Oh yeah, Storm with the hail was crazy. I loved Captain Commando. I don't remember him ever being too broken, but again, I don't remember. Cyclops is really good. Cable has some really, really good zoning stuff. Captain Commando was great. I never got good with him. But yeah, Magneto, Sentinel, Storm, definitely. I remember Iron Man being pretty prominent. But anyway, character changes. Soul Bad Guy. Extended range of standing heavy strike makes his offense using far slash even more potent. They buffed. It was now more challenging for him to get huge rewards from mid-range. Changes the gunflow, make him better at poking from mid-range. Is it more challenging for him to get huge rewards from mid-range? Standing heavy slash, expanded frontal hitbox, which is scary because it was already good. But I think people used far slash more. 6S decreased attack level, no longer launches the opponent on grounded counter hit, which is great because Soul had some pretty easy combos that you see all the time in lower levels. But, like, it's hard for me to give great commentary because I'm not like a Celestial player. I'm like a floor 9, sometimes 10 player. But Soul's a menace. And, like, this sounds like a buff. Like a big one. Yeah, Cable has the gun. Cable could shut stuff down. I don't know if Wolverine in MVC2 was ever super meta, but I do remember having, yeah, a lot of fun playing as Wolverine. Berserker Barrage! Oh, man. Wolverine was great. Gunflame comes out faster, has less active frames, but increased movement speed. So, like, these two together make a lot of sense. That's nuts. I wonder if they changed... It doesn't say they changed his Gunflame feint at all. So maybe it'll be easier to spot the difference. Still, faster movement speed of the projectile is significant. This is like... I want to say overall a buff, which is crazy. But his Far Slash getting decreased attack level and no longer launching the opponent, it hits pretty hard. That changes some things up for Soul players, for sure. Was there a difference between the two Wolverines? Oh, yeah, there was a difference. I forget what it was between, like, Metal Claw, Adamantium Claw Wolverine and Bone Claw Wolverine. I think it was, like, a slight health and damage difference. But, yeah, maybe he had some, like, his combos launched people differently. So you could do some things with one that you couldn't do with the other and vice versa. One was faster, probably faster, but does less damage. That's nutty. Canonically, he, like, had better regeneration whenever the adamantium was out. So maybe that version had more health, but it would make sense either way, right? How am I with the Darkstalkers games? I used to play Darkstalkers. Which one? I think it was Darkstalkers, not Devil Savior. A lot. I always played Shinko. Or Fish Guy, because Fish Guy was, like, a little broken, but the zombie was the most broken. Although Shinko had a super move that was gross. The, like, overhead weight thing that then dropped a bunch of spike balls that were kind of like RNG across the screen. It was nutty. Otherwise, she was, like, a weird zoner with weird movement, and I liked that a lot. It's part of why I play, you know, she has unique movement. But yeah, I really liked Shinko. The, like, Chinese vampire girl. Kai here. In addition to the Guard Crush effect of Sacred Edge during Shock State, and Dragon Install allows him to maintain his offense regardless of range. I don't need Kai's being more offensive. Ugh. Kai is already, like, the best Ryu. Founder Arc now creates less distance with the opponent on grounded hit, making it easier for Kai to continue his offense. Does he need that at all? I mean, again, not a huge competitive Celestial player over here, but Kai doesn't have anything that's, like, super good and shines a ton, but he's got an answer for everything. He's, like, the most balanced character already. So standing heavy slash, bigger frontal hitbox, that's really nice. I don't know how much that'll change, but this gets used in block strings every once in a while. Founder Arc decreased knockback on hit, which is, yeah, again, just going to let him continue pressure more easily and probably make him harder to poke out of anything. But you just catch him when he's coming in on this, or you don't. So that's not too big. It just makes it easier for him to continue offense, which, that's fine. He kind of sort of needs that. Maybe that'll add some variety to Kai block string combos, which he did need. Sacred Edge, which I think is his... Wait. This is his super. Added Guard Crush effect on the final hit, added Guard Crush effect on the final hit. Well, okay, that's fine. I don't think he had any Guard Crush before. Maybe during Shock State? And it always happens during Dragon Install. That's good. He needs more reason to use Dragon Install, even though it's like pretty good at low life, and all of his moves become better. You really like Zabel? Has some of the easy to make attacks of the roster. Which one was Zabel? I'm trying to remember. Because it's been forever since I played a Darkstalkers game. Zabel was... I can't remember. The zombie was Raptor. The British zombie... Oh, I thought that was Raptor. Zabel? Okay. Yeah, that's the character that was the most broken in Darkstalkers. For sure. The punk rock zombie, right? He had a lot of moves that were just like incredibly plus, meaning it was really, really easy for him to follow up with anything without the opponent being able to poke in and take their turn away. So yeah, Zabel was super, super good. Need a lot of mobility. He was just really fast. Had really, really good frame data and really good hitboxes. That's a good character to play. He's probably, I know for a long time he was like the top tier in the game. And then like the samurai character had big swings back and forth depending on which version of the game you were playing. Whether he was like pretty good or terrible. May. Horizontal Dolphin has less recovery when it connects. Makes the S version less risky and the Heavy Slash version even more plus. Damn. Extra distance from her forward jump also makes her aerials more potent. She didn't need more potent aerials. Oh my god. I mean, I'm not over here crying about May being busted, because I don't think she is. And May's been mostly nerfed in the past couple of patches. So if she gets some buffs, okay, good for May. Good for May players. Less recovery on Horizontal Dolphin is scary. On both versions. Yeah, reduced recovery on hit or block. May's got some pressure now. And she jumps forward more? I mean, that's a buff to every single aerial move she has, which are already really good. But maybe this update is focused on making everybody just, and the base game mechanics, slightly more aggressive, which is cool and good. 3K, increased active frames, reduced recovery. That's her slide in, which sucks. But it's like not as bad as Kai's, so that's okay. You want to play Darkstalkers again? The PS2 has a compilation with all the games on it at the same time. Yeah, I saw Maximilian, I think, playing that a couple of months back. And that is tempting, because I used to really, really like those games, and I haven't touched them in a long time. Arsugawa Sparkle. I think this is her Sea Lion Ball. Hitbox now remains after the projectile hits the ground. Okay, that's good. That can be tricky, because this move was, like, not great beforehand. She summons a little sea lion to like do a flip and hit a ball at you. And so it has this kind of downward forward arc of a projectile, which you could like block and approach, and she'd still be in recovery from it sometimes, depending on how close it was. It's also really easy to avoid. So as long as they're not changing anything, except the hitbox remains after the projectile hits the ground, that gives it a little bit of bounce and extends its like zoning ability by a little bit, which is kind of nice. These are fine. This is nothing scary. Like the Horizontal Dolphin having less recovery, that's a little scary. Her slide in having increased active frames is a little scary, but not incredibly scary, because I don't think this makes it a ton better. Unless she can start doing like crazy good combos after it on block. If she gets like big block string and you can't like 2K her out of it. Oh, Axel got some changes. The ability to cancel standing P and crouching P and other pokes during their recovery on hit or block makes his strength more prominent and at his preferred range. He needed that. Axel had very little ability to cancel out of a lot of moves, and was just like poke king for a while. So this is like, I don't play Axel, but this seems good and kind of scary. Rainwater now draws the opponent in, both increasing the reward on hit and making it possible for Axel to maintain his offense on block. Yeah, that's going to be bigger block strings. This could be the most annoying part to deal with, really. Standing P can now be special canceled on hit or block until the recovery ends. Good. He needed this. I'm going to hate playing against that, but he needed this. Opponent will now be in a crouching state on grounded counter hit. Didn't this used to pop you up? So he gets less air combo off of standing heavy slash. Which one was standing heavy slash? Let me go over. Axel, please. Hold on, real quick. I want to get rid of my hotkeys for a second. We're gonna go like, yeah, it's fine. We still see everything? We can still see everything here. What are the changes on chip? They're up next. What is... Five heavy. Huge pushback. Grounded bounces on air hit. That's a fine change. It'll keep people on the ground. This is probably just good for his block chains. Jumping P can be special canceled. That's cool. Jumping K decreases horizontal blowback distance. That's going to change up some combos, but I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Like, it'll keep him closer after a jumping K, which opens up the ability to use more moves, but a lot of Axels like pushing their opponents away. I don't know. This all seems like jumping D now launches opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback. Yeah, this is all just opening up more combo chains, which is fine. Just a blowback when used as part of a combo now launches opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback, added tumble effect. Which one's Winter Mantis? Again, I don't play Axel. Oh. He's reaching across the screen and exploding at you. Added tumble effect. So just dodge the hell out of this. Absolutely necessary. Because this is already like a full screen poke. Not even a poke, because it hits you from behind. You have to dodge it. Snail and Rainwater. Draws in the opponent on hit or block. That's good, because it totally pushed you out on block before. This is when he just spins the thing, right? Wait, which one's Rainwater? Oh! Ooh. That pulls you in. Yeah, Axel changes. Axel's gonna get to be able... He's got a lot more combo ability now. For sure. And... Okay. Snail, I feel like, was kind of almost always a get away from me move. And that's only on the heavy slash. Wait, they're both heavy slash. It's just grounded or air versions. So you might end combos with this every once in a while. But the rest of these keep people closer, which is kind of weird. Still, increases combo ability for Axel for sure. Chip, not as many changes. Axel needed some tweaking, so that's fine. Axel was like previously just poke your way into heaven. And he's got some good combos in the corner or with his time stop super. But like, he was more of a, I don't even really want to call him a zoner because he doesn't have projectiles. He just has huge reach on his normals. And his specials are for like ending combos or counterplay. Alpha Blade horizontal now sends people flying towards Chip. So he gets even more combos off of that. That's going to be crazy, actually. Because before he had to play Oki after an Alpha Blade. Now he can probably, like, Alpha Blade confirm into air combos. Increased horizontal blowback, but it's towards Chip. Because Alpha Blade, Chip would like zoom through people. Let me just go down to specials. Alpha Blade would go through people and you end up behind them after it hits. Is that true on diagonal as well? No. Maybe. No, aerial, increased horizontal blowback distance. Both of them, then. And Shinshu is the overhead. Reduced attack startup. That's good. They put Sin in, who has like who has a really good quick overhead. You can still totally block it, and you'll probably still be able to block this in combo strings. But this is one of Chip's like mix-up tools, right? His high-low mix-up. Is he going to go for an overhead, or is he going to try and sweep you? And so you have to make reads based on what the opponent's doing. And this has less of a bounce on it. Oh, and Shinsho... Could Shinsho not combo off of a crouching hit? Either way, yeah. All of this is just more rewarding. And, like, Alpha Blade changes in particular are going to lead to some really nasty air combos with Chip. Which is cool. Because that's where Chip has a lot of fun. He's really good in the air. He can wall run. He does a lot of really neat stuff when he's off the ground. And otherwise, he's really fast. So that's cool. I wonder if they changed up Milia to do much either. Because, like, Chip and Milia are both the low health characters that also are low damage, but they're crazy fast. I mean, Chip is faster. But Milia is really mean. So we'll see. Potemkin. Expanded frontal hitbox on far slash and standing heavy, which is nuts because those moves are already big. Additional range for his pokes, improve his mid-range game. I mean, he does kind of need that. Hammerfall, sped up the timing. And Potemkin can withstand attacks. Expanded lower hitbox. So it's going to be harder. Fewer things can low profile his Hammerfall now. Hammerfall, I think, is when he rushes forward and then, like, double pounds you with his fists. And it has armor. It's one of his main approach tools. Allows for more aggressive approaches as the timing Potemkin withstand attacks is now faster. I don't know what this means. Maybe it gains super armor faster? Or like, keeps it for longer? Maybe the move itself is just faster? Can withstand attacks is now faster. It sounds like he just gets more armor. Or the armor lasts longer. Which I didn't know needed to be buffed. But sure, good for Potemkin. He needs it. Close range, the faster startup of FTB makes it harder for the opponent to escape by jumping, meaning his core throw mix-up is more potent. Oh no! Which one's FTB? I don't like hearing that Potemkin gets better throw mix-up. I'm already, like, aggressively okay. Is FTB... special? Right. Slide head is the other one. It hits full screen. Hammerfall's the rush in. Oh, that's fine. His flick? FDB's the flick, that's fine. He can still hold to charge it, right? Automatically releases his finger the first time he's struck by a projectile. Oh, I didn't know that. That's good. Huh. I thought he could charge this. And, like, choose when to release it. Maybe not. That's less good than I thought it was, but hey, good for Potemkin. He didn't get, like, a ton, right? Heat Knuckle draws the opponent in on Guard Crush. But when are you really Guard Crushing with Heat Knuckle? Right? Like, you block it and go flying away anyway. If that doesn't change, then... Right, Mega Fist backwards is going to, like, decrease tension balance. Any special move that moves you back. That kind of hits Axel, too, because he's got a couple of jumping back moves. Faust. Not a lot of changes. Some increased knockback on a 6P standing heavy slash and sweep. All right. Crouching P reduced upper hurt box. Thank you. Was such a big... His crouching moves are good. I mean, it's not his standing punch. Or close slash, which is pretty quick and hits a huge vertical area. But crouching P just, like, sweeps up into the air. I wonder how much they reduced Faust's. Like, his crouching P was such a good anti-air tool. Faust's, as long as it's the one I'm thinking of. Faust is, like, low profile for a ton of things while crouching. And then... Oh, never mind. That's nothing. What was I thinking of? That's his 6P? That's fast for a 6P. How are you going to reduce the vertical on this? Right? Look at it. If its hitbox is, like, only right here, then what even is this animation? But everybody's going to have the same vertical limit on their 6P hitboxes. So maybe this did eat a huge nerf. But it doesn't say anything. Just increase knockback. Mix, mix, mix is faster to start up. That's good. Yeah. Increased a lot of block strings with Faust. He's going to be even more oppressive, even when not throwing items. That's fine. Reduce lower hurt box on Scarecrow. What did the lower hurt box on that look like? Is it hard to... Was it hard to 2K him out of it anyway? Not really. Reduced lower hitbox. Maybe he's going to be invincible below the knees? That'd be wacky, actually. Because Faust gets 3 options out of Scarecrow, right? The 2 Scarecrows appear on either side of you, and you can either teleport into one or the other, or dive from above. And that's, like, predetermined based off of what button he uses to execute the skill, right here. But you have, like, very little time to react. And so you have to immediately react to one of 3 situations accordingly. And an easy way to do that, whenever he would appear on either side of you, would just be like 2K. Don't hold back, don't hold forward, just 2K, 2S. You'll hit him low before this attack comes out. But now that might not be possible. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. I don't know what else I would change about Faust, but I never play Faust. He's got good... I mean, maybe he needs, like, slightly faster startup on a couple of moves, but otherwise... I think he's fine. Milia, our other low health, low damage combo titan. Increase the attack level of Tandem Top. Oh no! Makes it less risky for Milia to use in strings and during neutral. They're slowly moving closer to like Guilty Gear Plus R, right? The last version of the game that came out. It's never going to be that crazy, I don't think. Because they, like, upped the damage even more and made things more simple, and there's a lot less plus-on-block moves. So a lot of combos work differently. Characters have fewer moves than they had before, so the game overall is less complex and easier for people to get into. But they're slowly making things a little faster, which I'm totally fine with. Now has access to powerful mix-ups in more situations. She can cross up the opponent using Turbo Fall even in the corner. Oh! Millie can now move to the opposite side of the opponent even when they're in the corner. Nice! She can still corner. And it got a reduced hurt box. I don't know if I've ever seen anyone hit Milia out of Turbo Fall. They always, like, air grab her before it happens. Still, cool. Reduced recovery on 6K. That's fine. That's not her 2K. Her 2K 2D is good and doesn't need to be touched. Standing heavy bounces the opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback, so even more air combos out of Milia now. And previous stuff will be easier to, like, combo and continue into an even bigger combo. Decreased attack startup? Great. Lord Knight's going to be happy with that. Oh, reduced recovery on sweep. Ugh. I mean, it's probably not plus, but it's less minus now. So her 2D is... She can 2K 2D you and have a much easier time, like, going into tandem top. And setting up her game plan. Which is just mixing you up in, like, 3 or 4 different ways using the same move. Ground throw frame advantage and distance after a successful throw is now the same against all characters. Does it ignore weight types? Like, big bodies are no longer a different thing, according to Milia? That's weird. Zato. The ability to move only Zato or Eddie during Break the Law opens up new possibility for strings. Oh no, that sounds crazy, actually. Break the Law is the big sword? Yep. Zato. Give me overdrives. No, which one's Break the Law? It's not a super. Oh, no. It's his, like, not teleport. Oh, no. Oh, wow. You can move both or only one or the other. You couldn't move, like, Zato only or Zato forward and Eddie back, but you can move only one of them when he, like, sinks into the shadow to dodge stuff or swap or, like, do a mix-up and swap up what position he's in. That's crazy. That's great. I love this. Speed up the timing when Zato pushes before the attack is active. But his jumping D wasn't... Like, he uses his other jump moves a lot more, right? This gets a lot of use, but these two are used a lot more. And JP. So, that's fine. Reduced frontal hurt box on Sun Void, which is our big sword. Maybe like this is what they're talking about. That's fine. I don't think that's going to change too much. Maybe people knock him out of it, like, when it's first coming out, if they're close. Because he did like using that at, like, in the middle of chains. But that, I think, just means, like, this is going to be more his combo ender, and this will be more... It'll still be utility. He just has slightly less positions he can use it in, which is fine. Zato being extra tricky, and he already was with Sun Void, because Eddie repositions wherever the sword lands on the screen. So you can do it up close, or you can do it far away. But now, you have very tricky positioning with Break the Law, while he, like, goes into shadow form and just moves around. This is nuts. I love this. Yeah, make Zato crazier. I haven't started learning Zato yet, but that's crazy. I love it. Ram. Character that wins a lot of tournaments. Expanded frontal hitbox on crouching heavy slash. Are you kidding me? But crouching heavy slash, it was mostly her standing neutral moves that had like really, really good pokes in neutral. Wait, that's Zerd. Strive. Crouching dust. Oh. People already used this move a lot. Did that need to be bigger? Makes it easier to go into highly damaging combos. She already does all the damage. Though she is, I guess, more threatening at mid-range than she is at close range. But that's what she has her Rekka for. And whatever her jump is attack. Is that Arolumo? Decrease damage? What's your little leap? No. Arolumo is her Rekka. Oh. Okay. I'm down. That sucks for Ram. You gotta go. I will see you later, Tiberian. Damn, have I already been streaming for an hour? Wow, okay. I gotta hop over to... I don't even know which one I'm doing first. Probably Tactics. I gotta hop over to that soon, but still. I mean, I love this, but that sucks for Ram players. And jumping D... I almost never see them use this move. Every time Ram jumps, it's either this for pokes at range. JP, if you're like jumping into somebody and you don't want to like jump grab. Is it a special then? Oh, I see Aggressa Ordono all the time in the air because that has huge range. But no rear hitbox. I didn't know that. Opponent can now recover after landing. Cool. Wow. Ram. This is a big nerf for Ram. This is a big part of her play. But they didn't touch like Far Slash. They didn't touch a lot of her normals. And crouching heavy slash got buffed. And like JD gets a bigger hurt box behind her. Okay, whatever. That's whatever. This is a big nerf, I think. It's going to allow people to really like respond to it and not get blown up by it as much. She'll still be really good. Leo, everybody's favorite Unga Bunga. Adjustments to knockback for forward K. Increased range of Erstis Cultis Gostulber. Makes them more viable in combos and forming strong block strings. Uh-oh. Did he need that? His neutral was, like, pretty okay. Not the greatest, but he's got back turn stance, so, like, fuck Leo. Sweep launching the opponent higher on hit gives Leo more of an advantage, making it easier for him to go into Okazeme. Yeah. Just expanded certain hitboxes. I wish this were more specific. God. Leo... Oh, hurt boxes. Okay. Makes it easier to, like, counter poke him. 6k decreased knockback, decreased horizontal knockback distance. Does he use 6k all that often? Leo. Whoop, whoop, whoop. 5k. Command normals. Oh, yeah! It's a 14 frame startup, though. That's not, like, super slow in this game, but it looks like one of his slower startups. I guess it's only a little bit slower than his Far Slash. Still probably not a movie he's going to be tossing out too much at the beginning of a round, but Okay, whatever. This is probably just to help him in the middle of combos then, which is scary. Nago. Top tier. I mean, so is Zato, and he got scary change-ups. So what do you got, Nago? Defense now varies with the amount of blood gauge. Really? That could be scary for... I mean... Varies how? Damage and attack properties of his normal moves still increase the higher his blood gauge gets, but he now also takes heavier damage from the opponent, meaning he needs to consider any risks he takes in neutral. Cool and good. Nago, this character is like the only character who, with a lot of skill, can just one-touch you from the very beginning of a round. His crouching S has increased recovery. It was an exceptionally powerful poke. It was a really powerful poke. But you just put in Sin, who has a really powerful crouching S. Still, I'll take a Nago with more recovery. My Ino loves that. And it's not increased startup. So it's still going to be a fine opener. He just got to do crazy stuff off of this. I mean, Nago just gets to do crazy stuff. He can special cancel into special. And so far is like the only character that can do that. Except for Sin, kind of. In the previous Guilty Gear, Sin could like special cancel into special, and that's what made him crazy. And so they gave that property to Nagoriyuki in Strive here. And now Sin, after he got added, instead of like being able to special cancel into another special, he has specific follow-ups to his specials. So you never know if like that second or third hit after his special is going to come out, because he could do something different. But he still has like a special that has 3 or 4 hits to it. Well, like 2 or 3 hits, I think, most of the time. So Nago's just like still crazy powerful, but now takes even heavier damage from neutral depending on his blood gauge. So he's got to be even more careful about his blood gauge. They've been doing like back and forth balancing on Nago, right? When he came out, people were like, I don't know, his blood gauge fills up really quickly and doesn't decrease fast enough for him to do anything. So he does crazy damage and has good range and has good like frame data, but he blows himself up really quickly. And so they buffed his blood gauge by like nerfing how crazy quick it became a negative thing for him. And now they're like going back the other direction with baby steps, which I think is fine from like a balance perspective. Either way, taking heavier damage from the opponent with bigger blood gauge, fantastic. I love it. Nago is even more risky, but God, what a risk-reward character. Reduced recovery on far standing slash final follow-up hit. Cool. Reduced lower hitbox on standing heavy slash. Standing heavy slash. Nago Ryuki. Cool, you can low profile him better. Wait, far slash, far slash, far slash. Heavy. Yeah, still. God, the difference is with blood level. So yeah, easier to low profile. That's fine. He still has other moves that will screw up slide in attacks, but they're making it easier for Kai and Mei to get in. And maybe even people like Baiken to poke low. I'm okay with that. Nago is so good. Like, I mean, this is scary. This is great. Everything is great except for this far standing slash final follow-up hit, reduced recovery. He can already do things so quickly. But crouching S and increased recovery is nice. Geo, who I think is a great addition to the game and pretty cool, but I would rather have Jam. Crouching heavy now draws the opponent in. What? Creating major changes in her combos? Yeah. Using it with Sol Puente can lead to higher reward than before. What? She vacuums people? With this. That's weird. I mean, she likes staying... She's a rushdown character. She likes staying in people's faces, so I get it. But that's weird. Standing heavy bounces the opponent higher with decreased horizontal blowback. Yeah, more combo ability off of big hits. Added a wall bounce effect that wasn't there before, which might... I mean, that's, again, increasing combo chains. Might be bad? I don't know. It's probably going to change up her combos. Or, like... I bet you she can still super cancel on the same combos after this. Now draws the opponent in on hit or block. But you might be able to, like, grab her right after this. So, that's good. Frame advantage and distance after a successful throw is now the same against all characters. Same thing as Milia, which is weird. Maybe their throws, like, varied up wildly in distance against, like, lighter and heavier bodied characters. Reduced lower hurt box. Now less likely to end up behind the opponent when the first hit hits an opponent near the corner. So, like, less mix-up, but also harder to 6P, harder to anti-air. First hit launches the opponent higher, decreased horizontal blowback, better combo chain ability. Now launches the opponent less than before when used multiple times in one combo. Okay, that's fine. More combo ability, but also less combo ability. Yeah, she's... Not only does Crouching Heavy Slash change a lot of her combos, like, the change to Sol Puente probably changes a decent chunk of Geo combos. But mostly only the bigger ones, I think. Standing Heavy Slash now launches the opponent on grounded hit, making it possible to combo from Fujin into Rin. Finally! That was like Anji's whole thing back in the day, and then he didn't have it in this. And then go into Okazeme off of Isokotobi. I forget what Isokotobi is. He not only has access to more combo routes, but they also lead to better situations for him. That's exactly what he needed. Holy shit. Anji, which one's Iso? Give me... So, Shisu's Butterfly. Shiki is Fan Throw. Iso... What was... Oh, just a small hop that gets you close to the opponent? I don't... Yeah, he just moves in and gets Wake Up right after Fujin Ren, which is exactly what he needed, honestly. And maybe even, like, hitting people after Ren, depending on how they bounce. Decreased horizontal blowback, launches opponent higher. We're seeing this a lot. So they're making it easier to extend combos and do air combos for, like, a lot of characters. His 6P gets an expanded frontal hitbox. He needed that too. Anji's 6P was maybe the worst in the game. And this kind of goes with the patch notes of them normalizing a lot of anti-air normals. Yeah. This is not a lot, but it's exactly what Anji needed. Nagina gives Anji more of an advantage now due to the blowback adjustment, making it easier for him to maintain offense. He needed that too. Anji had, like, really short block strings that you didn't even have, like, if you knew what he could do, you didn't even have to do anything because he was not going to build a risk gauge. He could not continue a lot of offense for any length of time. My favorite section, Eno. Couple of changes. Startup can now be jump canceled. That's great. I mean, you should learn how to like instant block shortly afterwards, but this is good. This allows her to move a greater distance forward than with a standard jump. Oh, she can dash jump cancel more easily to change up her trajectory even more. Combined with the reduction of soldier performance's landing recovery? Hell yes! Now is a greater arsenal of approach options from midair. I love it! That's fantastic. I would eat shit to soldier performance's landing recovery. Every once in a while. Sped up the timing when Eno can block. Amazing! Timing is now the same as when canceling the startup. Okay. Oh, it's now the same as when canceling a startup of a jumping attack with faultless defense. Fantastic. Fixed a bug where it was possible to psych burst after a dash cancel. Motion will now be interrupted if a backwards direction has been input. Yeah, okay. Motion will now be interrupted if a backwards direction has been input. That's fine. Scale. Added proximity requirement for the attack to connect. Expanded attack hitbox on hit or block. Oh, so it's bigger now, too. That's fine. That's fine. That doesn't real... I mean, that might change up a couple of plays, but it makes it easier to Oki people. It makes it easier to meaty people with scale. I'm a fan of this. We'll see, but I think I'm a fan of this. All stroke the big tree versions. Reduced hurtbox before movement begins. Cool. Upper hurtbox of this attack steadily decreases as the move comes out. Okay. Reduces the hurtbox for a set time when it was extended too high. Okay, nice. Making it easier for her to low profile with it, which is its intended use. I love it. And reduced landing recovery. None of these are huge. Dash changes are kind of big. Because, man, she loves to approach. And she's got that air dash, like all the time air dash. So this is way better for Eno defense. I appreciate the hell out of that. Also, but like in bigger scale, great. Reduced some hurtbox on stroke, great. Reduced landing recovery on soldier performance, mwah, I love it. I love it. That's fantastic. Gold Lewis. Guard Crush the character. Expanding the hitbox of jumping heavy slash behind Gold Lewis makes it easier to connect after jumping over the opponent. Oh no! Makes his pressure from close range even more opponent. Don't most people do jump dust with Gold Lewis? Did I spell that wrong? Don't most people do jump... Oh, this move. Yeah, most people do JD anyway. This has a longer startup? And bigger recovery than JD? Okay. Not that one. Oh, that's not too bad to air throw when on whiff. Yeah, they just made this match up with the animation. The backwards hurtbox is going to cover the whole coffin. That's fine. That's... People are still going to use JD more often, I think. I keep doing that. Let's see. Thunderboard now disappears when Gold Lewis takes damage? What? The whole, like, big draw of Thunderbird was he got to push out a projectile with multiple hits that didn't go away. It, like, persists whenever he takes damage. This is huge. That's a big nerf. And then burn it all down. His, like, space laser gets an increased number of hits. That's good. If they didn't change anything else about it, then that's just a slight buff. But really good for, like, blowing up risk. Or doing slightly more damage. Attack hitbox now disappears when Gold Lewis takes damage for Thunderbird. That's crazy. Hit effect of the final hit now varies depending on security level. Okay, so it got, like, a damage buff. But it goes away if he takes damage. That's, to me, a lot less scary. Give it that damage buff. That's fine. Or even, like, pop-up, probably. Make it a bigger knockback, blowback. Added stagger effect on counter hit for standing K. Yeah, whatever, that's fine. It's got a couple of fast moves, but I see people use punches most of the time. This is a big change. The Thunderbird change. That's kind of large. Otherwise, whatever. Jacko. Big ol' minion class. Servants now fly higher and further when hit with crouching S. Okay. This makes it viable not only as a starting point for her offense, but also in powerful strings, making use of the time difference before the attack hits. Oh, no! She's going to have even bigger corner pressure. She's going to have really crazy delay combos. The minions coming down at you will... Is that an overhead? It might be an overhead. That'd be crazy. Changes to countdown launch on hit. Makes it easier for Jacko to go into a combo after blocking the explosion. What is countdown? God damn it, I did it again when I switched tabs in order to not do that. Countdown. What I mean is Jacko. Give me regular Jacko page, please. Which one's countdown? Oh. One of her, like, command attacks with servants. Changes the countdown launch. Makes it easier for Jacko to go into combo after blocking the explosion. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. It should launch. You should be able to get more off of this. It's hard to land and easy to block without anything else going on. Move will now higher and farther. Go higher and further. That's fine, that's good. Reduced frontal hurt box on dust, but only after the active frames end. Okay. That's easy. You mostly get... It's harder to poke her after dust attack, but mostly you want to poke before dust attack or just straight up block it and then get in. But, I mean, if you can, like, no longer 2k Jacko after you block her dust, that's scary. Bug causing unintended server behavior when a servant's hitbox touches another servant under certain conditions. Okay, bug fixes I'm all for. Wall bounce on servant throw. Ugh. She already has great corner pressure. Release servant will now register input when the button is held as well. I guess that's okay. I didn't know there was anything going on with, like, held inputs with Jacko. Unlike Zato. Happy Chaos. Everybody's favorite. Fuck that guy. Jumping D now draws the opponent in, making it easier to lead into advantageous situations for Chaos at close range, which he goes... Oh my god. Which he goes back and forth for all the time. Happy Chaos. Which one's your jump D? That's not... where you just attack straight down, is it? Oh, it's your cross-up kick. Sure, okay. That's fine, that makes sense. Testament does that. I mean, I don't know if it draws them in on Testament, but that's a good change. 6K could be easily included in combos from any situation and was extremely powerful in maintaining offense on block. That his whole gimmick is extremely powerful in maintaining offense on block. The attack startup has been increased. All right. No longer hits consecutively from crouching K. You can't Gatling from 2K into 5K or 6K, meaning different moves will be needed for different situations. Okay. 6K increases attack startup, but also launches the opponent higher. 6S launches the opponent higher. Gross. Happy Chaos does not need any more combo ability. But maybe that'll just bounce you out of some of his previous combos. I don't know. That could be rough. Reduce recovery when activated with no concentration at the ready. Great. He needs more recovery frames. Cancel aim is easier. Ugh. Curse now reduces tension balance. Oh yeah, because he like jumps backward when using it. Cool, good. And Scapegoat, his like putting a clone up in front of him to take damage for him, also reduces tension balance. Cool. It's harder for Happy Chaos to build super meter. His concentration gauge didn't get touched, but it's harder for him to build super, which he uses to buff his concentration gauge. So these are nerfs. That's good. This is also a nerf. Pretty good. Jumping D, he uses that sometimes, but he's still got his roll. He'll still have like a little bit of mix up. He doesn't need that though, because he's got crazy powerful ability to maintain offense on block. I don't think... Is his forward K that really... Oh my god, I did it again. Is his forward K that really quick kick? Yeah, this thing. God. Okay, cool. Cool and good. It is harder for Chaos to build tension, and they're going to have to change up how they make their block strings, probably. Or he's going to be easier to poke in on, which is great. Happy Chaos was nuts. Absolutely nuts. He's not Elfelt. Still nuts, though. Viking is more of a threat at close range now. Gross. She can more easily follow up on cross-up Yozansen mix-up. Oh no, that was already super strong and good. By expanding the hitbox of the explosion part of Kinju, Kinju's your gun. Now functions better as a poke and in combos. Wait. Is Kinju your... Yeah, expanded the hitbox of the explosion. That's fine. You could already do really nutty things with that. Now it's just slightly easier, and it doesn't really change just like raw super Kinju. So that's okay. Yozansen, though, decreased horizontal blowback distance of the latter half of the active frames, which means it's even easier for her to cross up Yozansen, the big metal fan that goes all around her. You can TK Yozansen, and if she's not crossing you up, you still get knocked away the same distance, which means like faultless defensing Yozansen, like jump S Yozansen, is going to be fine as ever. And it's still going to be kind of hard, but doable to anti-air her jumping slash, which is stupid good and nuts. Tatami Gaishi removed usage restriction. I don't even know what usage restriction it had. I see people popping off Tatami all the time. Now they're going to do it even more. Maybe there were times where you couldn't do it in air. Whatever. Okay, Baiken. This is one of the best versions of Baiken we've had, and she's just getting like a little better. I'm okay with that because I love Baiken, but that's scary. This is scary. She's already got good cross up and good combos. I'm not against any of these changes, but that's scary. Testament. Grave Reaper can now be used back to back, greatly improving Testament's control over neutral. I feel like you could almost already do that. They're an even better zoner now. Crouching heavy slash now draws the opponent in, opening up new uses in combo and block screens. Yeah! I did not... Well, okay, so Geo, Axel, Baiken... Wait, not Baiken. Geo, Axel, Happy Chaos, and Testament all get moves that pull people closer on block and on hit. Reduced launch. Okay, so that's going to change some combos, but drawing people in is fantastic. You don't really try and keep up a lot of block strings with like your normals with Testament. But now they're going to have even crazier combos off of crouching S, which I don't think you had too many of before. Maybe like forward heavy slash? I don't know. Reduced knockback of the strike part of Grave Reaper. Ooh, that also is really good. It makes it easier to combo off of. When people like rush in and you get them with the startup of Grave Reaper, as opposed to the projectile that comes out. Cool. Cool. I really only play like Eno and Testament, and I'm learning Testament. And I kind of learned some Bridget, but I don't know. Bridget, I see people do fantastic strings with Bridget, but it just doesn't feel right with me. I'm glad she's in the game, though. She's a great addition. Testament, though, all of these look pretty good. Increased active frames of the first and second hits on Nostrovia. Did that even need to change? Did Nostrovia need more active hits? Overdrives. I mean, did these need to be active for longer? Whatever, I'll take it. I like the sound of that. Bridget. Wow, Bridget got some changes. Bridget has more opportunities to launch her offense from neutral due to the increased projectile speed and reduced recovery for stop and dash. Oh no. Stop and dash is... Wait, yeah, okay. It's not rolling movement. Stop and dash and rolling movement. Bridget. Stop and dash is her throw, is her projectile. What's the name of... Kickstart My Heart, that's right. She has a bunch of yo-yo dames. So, faster projectile from Bridget. Great. That was always like a slower part of her kit. I almost only used it on like follow-up to into block string. Some more potent options available from rolling movement connects, as the changes to the knockback and trajectory create less distance with the opponent and leave Bridget at more of an advantage. Does that mean rolling movement has reduced recovery? Decreased knockback, increased descent speed. Activated as the yo-yo returns to Bridget, she now moves towards where the yo-yo was placed instead of where it was when you activated it at the very end while it's returning. Fixed a bug where double jump, air dash, and air backdash could not be used under certain conditions. Oh, that's critical. I never saw that happen, I don't think. But that's critical. Because doing any of these things out of rolling movement when she's rolling to where the yo-yo is placed is like part of her whole mix-up mind game plan. Counter hit state now ends at the same time as active frames. Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Expanded the lower hitbox and hurtbox of crouching P. Cool, it was pretty short before. 6P now causes blowback on hit when the opponent is standing. Blowback is the same as when hitting a crouching opponent. Whatever. That's nothing big. It's gonna be harder to like micro dash follow up with a close slash or something. But that's fine. That wasn't really a true combo from the beginning, I don't think. Command number 4. S after far standing S or crouching S. Expanded lower hitbox and hurtboxes of her command normals. Her like slash into slash, heavy slash into heavy slash. Okay. Maybe some people could just duck under them. I wonder if Faust could just crawl under those before, and that's why they increased that. It still feels like there's probably not going to be any like low profile hits that get hit by this, because that would be really, really silly. Maybe Biken has some lows that like don't low profile too well, and maybe they don't want them to, so that's what this change is about. Increased damage of stomp and dash. Okay. Increased movement speed of projectile, expanded proximity requirement for the attack to connect, same as Eno. and reduced recovery. So it comes out at like the same speed, but moves faster across the screen, and she's got better recovery on it now, which is good. Fixed a bug with Starship. Okay. Expanded proximity requirement for the attack to connect on kickstart. Her like dash up into either of the two follow-ups. That's weird. I wonder why. I wonder what like got beat by that they thought shouldn't. That's weird. Break. Expanded the upper hitbox. That's, yeah, fine, okay. Little lightning static thing from her breaking is a little bit bigger. Reduced launch. Decreased horizontal blowback. Added a tumble effect. So it's an even better counter poke. Might hit a couple of more... Like, might poke people out of a couple of other, like... How do you... It's not even really like a counter poke. Anyway, that's good. Easier to follow up off of kickstart. It's kind of what it was designed to do in the first place anyway. You get in your opponent's face real easy. An increased number of hits on return of the killing machine. Roger got buffed a little bit. Okay. Again, like, the vast majority of this feels like people just get more combo ability from reduced knockback. And we'll have to see when it comes to hitboxes and hurtboxes. Especially about 6P. No changes for Sin. He was released too recently. Only the universal mechanics change for Sin. That sounds pretty good to me. Again, I'm not a top tier player, but like a lot of this sounds good. They're expanding the combo ability of basically everybody. Happy Chaos gets a little bit of nerfs, which is good. May got some buffs, which Chip's got more air combo ability. Like notably more air combo ability, which is great. Goldloose's Thunderbird ate a nerf, unless its damage is huge now. But even so, that changes up his approach. Boom, boom, boom. Eno has an easier time canceling out of dash, which, mwah, I love it. And like, I like all of these Eno buffs, or all of these Eno changes. I get the proximity stuff with Note, and the only other thing that had that was I think Bridget's Yo-Yo. But Note also has a bigger hitbox now. It's fantastic. I'm okay with that. That's a great trade. Anji finally has a 6P that like works. And his Fujin Rin combo is actually a combo now. So Anji's like viable. Geo also got the vacuum normal, which is crazy. I don't think she needs more combo ability, but hey, go for it. Nago gets a defense nerf. This is a good patch. Leo is even more Unga. Ram gets like a mix. Her Rekka's not as strong, but this is a good patch. Zato's scarier with just like tricky movement, which is what he's great at. Milia gets even more mix-up combo ability, which is nuts. Tandem Top does more damage. We'll see with Faust changes. Yeah. Good patch, I think. Probably. That's my prediction. It's probably good. Who knows? But I like the sound of a lot of it. So yeah, thanks for stopping by, J-Hank. Thanks for stopping by, Tiberian. Anybody watching in the future, thanks. Please like and subscribe. Shit helps. Damn, I might have to stream some more Guilty Gear sometime soon to check this out. I also might be doing Final Fantasy Crisis Core sometime soon, because I only ever played through that with a friend, and it came out today. So we will see. But I got some other stuff on my docket first. Anyway, Rad Mahou, yo. I'll see you next time. Pretty shortly, actually. Coming back with, I think, Tactics Ogre first, probably. And then dinner, and then Ender Lilies. But yeah, this sounds like a good patch. I'm gonna stream back, or get back into streaming some Guilty Gear every once in a while. See you next time.